Yeah.
All right, it's getting close to 1 o'clock. If there's anybody still up on the landing there, we invite everybody to come down and get a seat. Oh. Hey, there's no one else up there, is there? Okay, great. All right, it's now 1 o'clock, so I'd like to call this July 25th, 2021 meeting of the Natural Resources Commission to order. At this time, we always have some introductions, and it's going to take me a little bit longer today because there's several new faces. And before I introduce some new faces on the commission, I wanted to introduce a couple of people that you're going to start seeing at these. First, I'd like to introduce to you Colonel Bobby Gales. He's here today. He's and I kid him all the time, he's going to try to fill the shoes of Colonel Jerry Jenkins, who was here for almost 47 years. So we want to welcome him. Thank you, Colonel, for coming out today. And then to my left, for the last almost 5 years, a young lady by the name of Listy Ann Looney sat here, and she also retired in July. And for her very first time, Wendy Green, who's our new assistant in my office, is going to be in charge of putting all these meetings together. So if I made a mistake, see her after the meeting because it's her fault. So I'm going to Wendy as well. This being our July meeting, as of course many of you know, it was a bill passed the last legislative session that created a mandatory representation from all 6 wildlife districts in West Virginia. And today, as we open this meeting, this is the first time that all 6 districts have been represented in well over 2 decades. So we're really excited about that. We're going to start down at my far left. Today, the commissioners are going to announce themselves, and because we're focusing on the district, they're also going to tell you what. Commissioner Mill?
Dave Jones, Preston County District.
Myron Chambers, Hampshire County, District 2.
Jared Harmon, Upshur County, District 3.
Jeff Bowers, Hamilton County from District 2, and now serving at large.
Tom Dodson, Greenbrier County, District 4.
Greg Burnett, John County, District 5.
Jimmy Hodge, I'm from Smithville, Bridge County, District 6.
Right. And a lot of the faces up here are familiar, but we had 5 existing commissioners that have been here before. I know you all have met them before, but Jared and Janet are 2 new commissioners. We're excited to have them. Jared representing District 3 and Janet representing District 6. Jared brings a real strong background, especially in fishing. He served as the president of the Washington Bass Nation. He's also the president of the Washington Wildlife Federation. And in my 5 years, I don't know of many people who put more volunteer hours into working with youth and fishing in West Virginia than Jared Harmon. Ms. Hodge, Janet, is also the past president of Western Trappers Association. She's an avid bear hunter, and I see my good friend Don Rackett up here. He's probably happy to know that we have a bear hunter now on the commission. And she's forgotten more about all that stuff than I'll ever know. I got to spend 2 hours discussing things with her in North Bend, and she's going to bring a wealth of knowledge to the commission. So I want to personally welcome you both. Thank you. Before we get any further, I would like to call some folks up to the front here. We've got a special presentation today from the National Wild Turkey Federation. So if you want to come up, the podium is back there, but let's just go ahead and do it right here where everyone can see it.
I'm Bob Garrison. I'm the Vice President of the National Wild Turkey Federation here in West Virginia. And Cully Curdy, who a lot of you know, wasn't able to be here today, and Jeff Evans, the president. It was his wife's birthday, so he felt he's better spend the time there. They asked me to make it, I feel it's an honor. Thank you, Mr. James. The first award that I'm going to pass out is call that Sharp Spur. It is given every year by the Untitled Chapter of the National Outlaw Turkey Federation to recognize the power the DNR natural resources who excel in portion of our wild turkey and other animals. It is especially good to me because he didn't realize it, but I met him before. My sons and I were fishing at the head of Stone Cold Lake. And, he came in, we were checked. He was very, very courteous, very respectful, didn't feel offended in any way, shape, or form. Good. That was good. But he was as professional as anybody that I've ever encountered with that group. And not just with us, but with everybody there. Also discovered he lived just about 5 or 6 miles from us. But this is concerning the 2020 spring turkey season. He has scouted through lots and lots of research and time on the ground, hours, tracking down feeding stations. It's one of the most abhorrent things I can think of is hunting over things. And he found several of those. The first morning of the season, he ended up with 3 actual apprehensions. And visited another one of the sites and found that the turkey had been killed, and he seemed to know who it was, so he got an admission from that person. I don't think we could ask for any better service than that. Sincerely thank you in every way, shape, or form, both personally and professionally. This is the Silver Spur Award. So, let you hold it, Joe. Thirdly, congratulations are 100% in order.
I'd also like to present Tanner with the Department Coin for his service during this piece, and also point out the fact that we've also been around for years. Thank you. You sir.
Here is, it's a badge in WVDNR. Flag with you. Thank you. Appreciate you, sir. Is the wildlife manager for years. And Nick Gillespie has been the wildlife manager, East Lynn Lake and the Beach Fork Lake, doesn't that, right? He has done an enormous amount of work that helps the turkey and all other game. We've done a lot of succession of habitat work. It has improved, particularly the whole survival. And he's done supplemental planning for wildlife, wild turkey, and all other wildlife. And he also supports older age management objectives for white-tailed deer. It's been a vital part of the elk reintroduction in southern West Virginia, common wildlife area. Again, can't say enough, and thank you. I didn't spend much time in Wayne and Lincoln County, but I was a big deal with Logan for many years. I know about it. Again, very, very thankful. Appreciate your efforts.
You locked up, right? Yes. That's great. You locked up.
He's an accomplished bow hunter too, and he just got a pretty nice deer 2 seasons ago.
Yes, sir.
Big one, so Nick and Tanner, I want to thank you both. It goes without saying how much appreciated by me and by all the chiefs. You all do a wonderful job. Thank you. I don't know two better gentlemen, more deserving than you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir.
I'd like to say thank you to our First Federation for doing this.
All right, so getting started on here, we need to review and correct the minutes of the May 2nd, 2021 commission meeting. You all have had an opportunity to review those. Are there any additions or corrections to be noted?
Second.
All right, I have a motion to approve the minutes. It's been properly seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, motion carries. All right, next, moving on, number 3, we're going to ask Keith Krantz to come up to the podium. And we're going to approve, we need to approve the 2022-2023 small game and fur bearer hunting and trapping regulations. Mr. Krantz.
Thank you, Director. Director, Commissioners, Janet and Jared, welcome aboard. Look at this green handout that I gave you. And if you turn the page to the second page, what we're voting on is today is this statement that says the Division of Natural Resources proposes that all other small game and fur bearer hunting and trapping regulations for the 2022-2023 season be open as shown on the attached table. And we provided it to you earlier this year, and essentially it's the exact same framework and regulations as we had last year. Nothing's changed at all. But we do need to vote to approve those regulations for next year.
Okay. I don't think that Commissioner Hamrick and Commissioner Harmon have had a chance to look at those. So do you have any questions or anything? Okay. All right. Does anyone?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Doesn't relate to this year. Just wanted to get a quick update on, we've been talking about bobcat and otter. Where are we in that process in the study on bobcat and otter to consider keeping with the same? Is that, I know that was bobcat study was partially finished, still.
Director, which I have all into that.
Chris Ryan, would you come up and answer that question? Thank you. Thanks.
Sure.
Yeah, Commissioner, we just finished the Bobcat project and got the final report on there. So any proposals we'll have will come at the next meeting in the winter time. We're a project leader, Rick Robert. It'll be the same with the otter. He's had a little bit of an ongoing project with the otter, but it's the same. These proposals were made, as you know, in January.
Right, yeah, I knew that. This question didn't apply to this, and I was looking forward, so I knew those things were happening. Wondering how.
So they are just wrapping up.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion approved.
All right, so we've had a motion from Commissioner Bowers and seconded from Commissioner Dobson. And the Division of Natural Resources proposes that all other small games and fur bearer hunting and trapping regulations for the 2022-2023 seasons be open as shown on the attached table. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Krantz.
Thanks, Director.
Next, we'll ask Mark Scott to come up to the podium to talk, to review the proposal to approve the 2022 fishing regulations. Mr. Scott.
Good afternoon, Director, Commissioners. Got my read glasses and words from Brad told, so. I don't know if that's a good or bad.
We're in trouble now.
Sorry, Mom, it's bad.
They say he's done.
You will be voting to approve or oppose these, or implement these, or they, number one is proposal to establish a 20 to 30 inch spot limit for walleye and 8-inch daily creel limit on one fish may be able to 30 inches on Sheep Lake and the entire Sheep River. This is the same regulation we have on Summer's Lake now.
we could be treated.
All right. Okay, so you see proposal number one. Are there any questions or discussions on that for Mr. Scott? If not, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second is good.
Commissioner Burnett, second by Commissioner Bowers. The motion on the floor is the Division of Natural Resources proposes to establish a 20 to 30 inch protected slot limit for wildlife with an 8 fish to 80 feet limit, of which only fish may be over 30 inches on Cheat Lake in the entire length of Cheat River. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Ayes have it, motion carries.
Two is the division proposes to establish a 4 fish daily creel limit, 8 fish possession limit, of which only 1 fish may be 35 inches or longer for flathead catfish for the entire length of the Monongahela River. This is the same rate we have on the Ohio and Small Rivers. But
Any questions for Mr. Scott or any further discussion?
Move to approve. Second.
All right, I have a motion to approve from Dr. Dodson and seconded by Commissioner Burnett. All right, the motion on the floor is the Division of Natural Resources proposes to establish a 4 fish daily creel limit, 8 fish possession limit, of which only 1 fish may be 35 inches along with flathead catfish for the entire length of the Monongahela River. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, motion carried. Scott.
number 3, the division proposes to establish a 10 fish daily creel limit, of which only 5 fish may be 8 inches or longer for bluegill and all other sunfish species in aggregate from Mason Lake, Monongahela County, and Cedar Creek Lake in Barber County.
All right, Commission, you have the motion on the floor. Is there any discussion or questions for Mr. Scott?
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Chambers, seconded by Commissioner Burnett. All right, there's a motion on the floor to approve the Division of Natural Resources proposing to establish a 10 fish daily creel limit, of which only 5 fish may be 8 inches or longer for bluegill and all other sunfish species in aggregate on Mason Lake, Monongahela County, and Cedar Creek Lake in Barber County. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Ayes have it, motion carried. Mr. Scott.
Number 4, the division proposes to remove the 15-inch minimum length limit for walleye, Tiger Lake, and Tiger River from Valley Falls upstream to Tiger Lake Main.
All right, is there any discussion or questions for Mr. Scott on this proposal?
I would just, since there's some new people here, quickly explain the reasoning behind it.
Right now, the reproduction for walleye in Tiger Lake and toward there is exceptional, probably too much. So we want to cut back on the number a little bit to reduce competition, to allow a little bit larger fish to be caught. You go there now and you catch tons of in walleye.
Move to approve. All right.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Bowers, second by Commissioner Dawson. All right, we have a motion on the floor and probably seconded. The Division of Natural Resources proposing to remove 15-inch minimum length limit for walleye on the Tiger Lake and Tiger River. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Ayes have it, motion carries. Scott.
Number 5, the division proposes to add approximately 1,400 feet section of Second Creek, adjoining immediately downstream to the existing fly fishing only section.
Any discussion or question for Mr. Scott?
Move to approve.
All right.
Second.
All right, we have a motion on the floor, properly seconded. The Division of Natural Resources proposing to add approximately 4,400 feet section of Second Creek adjoining immediately downstream to the existing fly fishing section. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Ayes have it, motion carries.
I would take a moment to thank the government people in the landowner getting this together and allowing it to happen. Yep.
Absolutely. Mr. Scott.
Number 6, the division proposes to remove the trout catch and release act regulation from a 0.9-mile section of Shaver's Fork encompassing the historic recreation area.
Mark, for especially for the two that are on here, explain to the commission again to the public why we're going to remove it.
This area, water gets too warm in the summer to hold trout, so it really defeats the purpose of having a catch and release area where you would expect fish to be year round. So we want to remove that.
Okay, Any questions for Mr. Scott on that or any further discussion?
Motion to approve.
Second by Mr. Mill. All right, we have a motion on the floor, property second, Division of Natural Resources proposing to remove the drop down release regulation from the 0.9 mile section of Shavers Fork encompassing the Stewart Recreation Area. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, no. Ayes have a motion carried. Mr. Scott.
Seven, the division proposes to eliminate the Woodbine Children and Class Q section from the Cranberry River to replace it with the U.S. Forest Service owned Bishop's Knob Pond as the new children's Class Q area.
Again, a little further discussion. I know we had some questions about this before, and I don't think everybody's up to date on what we're replacing it with and how much information.
So the Woodbine area is on the stream itself, and there's really it's hard for handicapped folks and kids to fish a stream when there's really not much access. You can't move in here or there. And over the last few years, it's actually been behind a lot of Forest Service gates, Forest Service locked to keep people out close to vandalism. So we're going to remove this and we want to replace it with something. And the Bishop's Knob Pond is 5 to 6 miles away from this site now. Forest Service has just redone the whole area. Better parking, there's a trail around the pond. It'll be much better site for kids and Class Q folks to use. So the Forest Service is on board 100%.
And how far is it, Mark? If you were going to drive up there to Woodbine, you decide to go to the pond instead, now how much further is it?
5 miles away. It's 10 minutes maybe.
And I understand, I haven't seen 100 pictures, they're nice facilities.
I've seen pictures. It's quite nice.
All right, is there any other questions for Mr. Scott? Any further discussion? All right, we have a proposal on the, or a motion on the floor, properly seconded, the Division of Natural Resources proposal to eliminate the Woodbine Children Class Q section of the Cranberry River replacement Forest Service and Bishop's Knob Pond as a new children Class Q water. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Ayes have it, motion carries. Mr. Scott.
Great, the division proposes to place the section of the Canal River from the Buffalo Bridge upstream to the Winfield Locking Dam under the regulation of 6 fish daily creel in aggregate for walleye, sauger, and saugeye. Only 2 of the 6 fish may be walleye, and the walleye must be 18 inches long.
Mark, how long the section is this?
It's just a few miles, 3 or 4 miles probably. It was kind of left out. The area just kind of been dropped through the crack, I guess you'd say, for regulations. So we felt it matched up better with the Ohio River regulations, which go up to the.
So it mirrors the Ohio River.
Mirrors the Ohio River. So if someone comes up the Canal River, they can fish the same walleye, sauger regulation up to Winfield.
Okay, there's no, not gonna be any law enforcement issues with that, no problems. All right, any other discussion or questions for Mr. Scott? Okay, I'll entertain a motion. We've got a motion on the floor, properly second, the Division of Natural Resources proposing to place a section of the Canal River from the Buffalo Bridge upstream to the Walker Dam under regulation of 6 fish daily creel and aggregate for walleye, sauger, and saugeye. Only 2 of the 6 fish can be walleye, and the walleye must be 18 inches long. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, motion carries. Mr. Scott.
Number 9, the Division of Natural Resources proposes to add tiger trout to be included in all regulations pertaining to trout and consistent with all aggregate limits for trout. This is another one that kind of fell through the cracks. It actually is listed in the regs.
So Colonel Jenkins and I one day were talking, when they brought that up, I thought, oh my gosh, don't let that get out. I'm the tiger truck being carried out of the river.
Eventually, someone could just think of, could have the springs take what a tiger trout.
Well, technically, the rule says trout, and we don't list tiger trout, so I think you have a tough.
And they're only a small percentage of each stocking, so they have a hard time catching much over.
So, but anyway, is there any other discussion, questions for Mr. Scott? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
We've got a motion on the floor and properly second for the Division of Natural Resources proposing to add tiger trout to be included in all regulations pertaining to trout consistent with all aggregate limits for trout. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, no. Ayes have it. Mr. Scott.
10, the division proposes to change the trout delayed harvest regulation to be under catch and release regulations from November 1st to March 31st and general regulations from April 1st to October 31st. Now, we had a meeting with the trout plan folks, and since we put this forward, they have some more questions that come up through the trout plan. Our recommendation would be to table this until we get through the trout plan and make a decision at that point. But it's up to you folks.
Move to table.
Okay, I've got a motion on the floor and properly seconded to table this regulation until the trout management plan comes out, which will be February.
COVID's really
It
good.
won't be here in October, it'll probably be February.
I think maybe like fall, maybe, they'll send out the public notice.
All right, well, we've got a motion on the floor to table this, and I agree, there's a lot of questions on it for delayed harvesting, you know, move further in the spring. With that, there's no further discussion. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Number 10 will be tabled until, we'll look and see where you're at on the next agenda. We'll put it back on ready. You want to move to table.
Number 11, all other fishing regulations for 2022 will be the same as those in 2021.
That's pretty straightforward. Any questions about that? Move to approve. Second. All right, I got a motion on the floor, properly seconded, to leave all other fishing regulations for 2022 be the same as those of 2021. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Ayes have it, motion carries.
And then we had one question there, it was put forth by the commission previously, which was, commission requests your opinion on the removal of the 4.3 mile catch and release section from the junction of the north and south forks of the Cranberry River downstream to the low water bridge at Dogway Fork.
Yeah, and we had a discussion about this. We are going to take a trip up there, a couple of commissioners and myself, along with some of Mark's biologists, to take a look at the actual stream. And I think Commissioner Chambers is going to address the commission on that and after the director's comments. So if we could, I'd like to entertain a motion to table that as well.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion or any other questions? All right, if not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Scott. Next on the agenda, I have Michaela Scott down, but I think she's competing this weekend. And I didn't get a chance to catch up with her. She normally gives us an update on what she use, how you shoot the program. I'm sure she'll have some comments, and I'll make them available to all the commissioners. She gets back. All right. And with that, it's our favorite time, public comments. You give Mr. Toller his glasses back.
I just want y'all to look at them now. You catch a 12-inch bass, or 24-inch, you go to 6-point, it's a 12-point.
You got
Lost your loss.
You got the podium in and then 3 minutes to start right now.
Wait till I get to the podium, I'm gonna grip. And I don't know how I ended up first. I want my buddy here to get there. I'm usually last. But I'm usually here for congratulating all the commissioners and the director and the new secretary there. Usually I aggravated with that because she don't have no name way up front. I told them time and time again, she needs one. The old directors, commissioners rather, you know what I'm here for. We don't want no gun season. Running around down there, but they're going to have some kind of lottery season. I don't know if that's just somebody running their mouth or what. But you're talking about a fight on them. The 4 southern counties will be there with lots of gloves on. We don't want no gun season, no anything whatsoever. Because when it starts one, it starts another. I want to tell you, the deer's down there. Deer's really down all over the state. I don't care whether you want to agree with me or not, but y'all. I know people's hitting cars and everything else, but I'm gonna tell you, the predators is putting a hand on them. I don't see none of the deer I usually used to see on my understanding. And you know, they're also doing it on turkey. I got pictures where the turkey's in their mouth and, they come in on you, which, you bust out, it comes in. But, the new directors, or commissioners rather, they call me the mouth of the South, and I get pretty mean. I can get real mean. A few years ago, the director and NRA tried to get a gun season in those counties. We blowed him out the door. Charleston paper had headlines on it. I still got that paper, and some other people probably, other actors probably got it. But said the sportsman's club blowed NRA out the door, bow hunters. You got a gold mine, don't run it. Don't mess it up. I don't care what commissioner wants to do it, or director, even a director, we don't want. My 3 minutes up.
He'll let you know.
Oh, he didn't know what it is. One of them blinders they got on horses, I can't see. Appreciate it. Everybody knows me, I'm part of these new.
Thank you, Mr. Fuller.
Thank you.
Next, and by the way, I started this, and I messed up the very first one. When you sign in, now, we're gonna ask you to say what district you're from, so your representative up here will know what district you come from, and if they have any comments afterwards you wanna know. So District 4, Dr. Dodson, he's all yours.
You know that Fred is your name this time, so you wouldn't pass me over, did you?
Yes. I'd like to ask Ron Radcliffe from the Western Neighborhoods Association to come up, and he is from District 5.
Now, I think Brad,
I said he's all yours.
he's mine.
Welcome, Dawn. Of course, I'm Don Radcliffe, past president of the Western Neighborhood Association, still on the board of directors. I was telling Colin earlier, I said, we're loving all these bear seasons. The only problem we've got with it is I don't have enough vacation to hunt all of them. But that's going to be rectified here in about a year and a half when I retire. So as long as we keep the seasons going. Janet, Jared, congratulations. Welcome to the commission. I think something the DNR and especially law enforcement really needs to address are these outlaw, as they call themselves, outlaw ATV trails. I live there in Elkins and up the road in Sanderson, where I live. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. We're talking hundreds of them on the weekends, on property that they do not have permission to be on. You have people up there who have little farms and stuff posting on social media, inviting people in from all over the place. Come and park at my place for $10 and ride the Sanderson trails. It's ridiculous. I mean, I'm from Webster County. Harding Curtin last year leased out all of their property across the state due to the fact that somebody that they allowed to ride on their property. Harding Curtin used to let everybody use their property as it was their own. Somebody on ATV wrecked, sued them, lost $1 million lawsuit. After that, Harding Curtin leased out all their property. It's going to end up happening on this Dickinson Land Company just up the road from me. And, I'm talking 5 miles away from me. I used to bear hunt there. I don't even take my dogs up there anymore, especially on the weekends. It's dangerous. And these people come in from all over the place. I wouldn't trust them not to take collars off my dogs or even take my dogs. But something really needs to be done about that. I mean, they're advertising on social media for these people to come and ride somebody else's property. If I was a they've already had trouble up there with some of the landowners. They ended up having a meeting and they said they got some of it worked out. The landowners they were talking about were small individual landowners. They were talking about the Dickinson Land Company. So Dickinson Land Company does not want this. But I hope something can be done to address this.
Thank you, Don.
We'll look into it, sir.
All right, next we have Adam Hudson, Charleston, West Virginia. He's also from District 5. Adam? Good afternoon, welcome. Thank you for coming down. I invited you, you said you'd come. Thank you.
You invited me, so.
I invite everybody, but I was talking to him on social media and asked
He's
him.
taking you out to lunch, too.
That's what I was talking.
Anyway, welcome.
Thank you for this time, thank you for this opportunity, I'm a district five in Hawk County. I'm a bow hunter, and we have, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. And first, I'd like to say thank you to the bear hunters, because 10 years ago, Kanawha County was overrun. In one season, between first day of bow season and rifle season, I had seen a total of 8 different bears that had cameras stolen, or not stolen, but shoot off trees. And it got to be ridiculous. Now I do good to see probably 1, maybe 2 bears in the season. And, but I spoke with you, Mr. McDaniels, about this bear season that comes open at the end of October and the first week of November. And you said that this was because there was some complaints, and you even said that traditionally, like 20 years ago, the bear season had come open then. And I don't recall any kind of bear season that opened up at the end of October, other than whenever bow season opened up. But I mean, I look back at the regulations from 2005, and bow season opened up on 18th of October, and that was when bear season opened up, and the first week of dog season would open up in December, if I'm not mistaken. But my concern is for attention to be between 2 different groups of people. See, more people go into the woods bow hunting starting that week. I mean, you can say what you want, but the rut starts, and there's more bucks on their feet, and people take vacation. And I would say that you would probably have more bucks killed just beginning that week throughout the rest of the season. So what's going to happen when a happy dog runs a bear past the guy and he shoots the bear off in front of the dogs? Technically, from what I understand, that's legal, but it's not going to make anybody happy. Okay. What's going to happen when a group of dogs run past the guy and he gets fed up with it? He gets mad. He thinks he shot somebody's dogs. They feel like their dogs are part of their family. We don't want tension. We don't want that peace. But we have a week in the middle of October that was open. We go from August 28th all the way to November with a week pause in between. We could have put that season in the week pause. Okay. And I can't talk.
So, no, thank you for coming in, and I'll talk about it in my comments, but also inviting Colin Parker. He's our bear guy. He's gonna meet with you after the meeting to discuss something. But thank you, again, thank you for showing up. That means a lot. Next, I'd like to call Brian Elkins up to the podium. He's also in District 5. Great, you're getting a workout today.
District, Brian Elkins, I'm here to represent the West Virginia Bow Hunter Association to continue our string of never missing and natural resources commission meeting. I think we've always had somebody be able to come to the podium, we can listen to what people have to say. And I think I'm acquainted with all of you up there, except 2 young ladies. I maybe have seen you before, but I don't recall you. Brain cells start to get a little bit. Sometimes you remember faces, but not names. Be glad to work with the commission, as we always do. When changes are suggested, they are, we think is good and beneficial for the resource to partake of what wonderful West Virginia has to offer. We'll be there to support you, help your projects like elk introduction or different tracking devices on other animals you might be researching with. Always glad to help. And we'll also be, not sure, our duty to oppose things that we think are not beneficial. So just here to put a face on the WVGA and gentlemen, before me, if you're not a member, I want to invite you to join. And matter of fact, maybe your lucky day, I'll even pay your way. We can pick you up, because it sounds like you're a concerned person, and that's the kind of people we want in our association. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Elkins. Great organization. Happy to be associated with you all. All right. Next, I'd like to call on Larry Lawson.
Old timer.
He told me that he'd give us a historical lesson on the facility you're at today. I'm going to talk a little bit about my comments, but he's got a lot more knowledge about the subject than I do. Mr. Lawson, welcome.
Let's be as historical. Anyway, got a few things to say. I gave some handouts at the commission, just kind of follow along and give you some perspective on what you're looking at. Commission meetings were normally held on the first Monday of each quarter, and I started attending commission meetings on April 11th, 1983, in this facility. Not this particular, but Hawks Dance, that was me, or it was him. And I go to the commission minutes of those meetings, might find some interesting reading in there. Maybe it ought to be some kind of a prerequisite that commissioners go through some of the minutes and meetings. You know, read back each of history of what happened, maybe keep a lot of this deja vu stuff from happening over and over again. But anyway, at the time, I was the vice president of the Homeowners Association, and the president was in Wheeling, and he said, well, you're a lot closer to Hawks Nest, why don't you discuss it? And that sort of started it, and then I had went like 30-some years and only missed 4 meetings. So I was getting to go to all the meetings. Many times I was the only one there from the public, and so I got to be first. I asked the director to let me be last today, and I noticed he accommodated that. So anyway, I appreciate it. That's the significance of the meeting. I just wanted you to see it was Hawks Nest, and it occurred on Monday, April 11th, 1983. For those who don't know, Jeff Bowers' dad is #1 on the list. We tires, and Carl Hanger came to that meeting. Now, he's not in here anywhere and having been attended, but it's my understanding that he was instrumental in getting an appointment for John Ryder Jr. John Ryder Jr. was bear hunter, and he was instrumental in trying to heal wounds of moving that bear season from November into December to save the saddles. And so, as sort of a reward to that, Gainer managed to put him on the commission. Interesting enough, after the meeting, he was the only one that came up to me and talked to me. And he said, I understand there's going to be a lot of bow hunters. And I said, well, yes, there are a lot of bow hunters. It's kind of really taken off with compounds and different things that was going on at the time. He said, that's going to help you down the road. And so I appreciated that from hearing from you. At your last meeting, you had some discussion about crossbows and testing for wide permits and this type of stuff. So I put a little gee whiz stuff in here just for your information. The legislation was passed in Bill 575, 2005. It gave the qualifications and requirements for receiving a wide permit. And this says, number one item, he or she holds a class Q permit, semicolon. That means and. So you had to have a class Q to qualify for a Y. And it went on to say, you had the class Q permit and you failed one of the other tests that we were giving, then you would get your Y permit. Well, this was called for a lot of people's attention at the time, and nobody really wanted to go down that road. So it wasn't until 15 years later, they added the word or. And that's on the third page of the document I gave you. You can see where now it says he or she holds a class Q permit, or fails the other tests. So doctor trying to give these tests and said, well, you don't have a class Q, so I can't test you for a while anyway. But here's the deal. Mr. Cheney had a modified boat permit. And you can modify your boat with your disability. And there was this thing called a draw lock. And you put a draw lock on a conventional boat, and those that were saying they couldn't hold the boat right would not be able to do that. Last, I have the document that puts you in your seat. And I wanted to call your attention, well, this is work. This has been reinvented. All of you were on 7-year terms that were recently said at various stages of 7-year terms. And what we've done here, the governor appointed all the commissions, and we're starting out for new, with the places that simply. So you gotta be confirmed in. And you have to go for confirmations, and we have confirmed in your position to be totally official. Keep that in mind. Over the years, I've seen some people that had a few issues with confirmation. So in conclusion, I would say that some of this is about exciting with the rumor of being raised deer from Michigan being released in the Monroe County. But there's always rumors going around. Appreciate your time, and I've really enjoyed it over the years. I've kind of done it also. Start out here, and you can argue.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. All right, that concludes. You didn't say that. Okay. Thank you.
Man, because you gave me first place.
Well, I wasn't going to call on you because I want Larry to have an opportunity to be last. But thank you all for your comments. One of the things, one of the newer things we're going to do, during director's comments, now that the commissioners have had an opportunity to hear everyone speak, I'm going to give each of them, they don't have to speak, but I'll give them up to 2 minutes, Colonel. 2 minutes, so they can comment about anything that they may have heard, and then I'll run my comments brief. So I'll start off with Commissioner Milne. Do you have anything to add today, sir?
I had mentioned to one person in this room that I attended just a few minutes Hunter's Head class down the road from my farm in Preston County yesterday, and they were complaining about they didn't have any regulations yet. And does anybody in here have any good explanations as to why we don't have any regulations yet?
Once I see 19.
Thank you, Zach Brown.
Zach Brown, Assistant Chief Operations. There have been delays. I don't have a good reason for you, but they are available online right now, and we are working as expeditiously as we can to get them to the printer and to get them. But there were some last minute changes and corrections dealing with the new graduated lifetime licenses. We're starting to sell now, and that with a couple other delays have delayed it more than I'm happy.
I'll report that.
Right.
Thank you.
But they can't go online and view it.
Thank you, Commissioner Milne. Commissioner Chambers.
Thank you, Director. Fellow commissioners, those in attendance. I retired from natural resources law enforcement in '04, as captain in District 2, Rome. But I was born and raised in Richwood, West Virginia, and I spent a lot of hours on the Cranberry River, streams. And they have contacted me, and I'm looking for a compromise here. And I think the director has addressed it. I talked to him, some of the commissioners. When I graduated from Richwood High School, it was a big AAA school. They're struggling now to hang on to a single A. And the economy is terrible. And if it would help, and the gentleman that takes people in, I understand that 90% are not what it can. We're encouraging young people to get involved in fishing and hunting. They cannot catch a trout in that area to have the experience to cook it over the fire. And that's what I'm asking you. But the director has agreed, we're going to look at it, and but that's what I'd like to see. If it would help the economy in Richwood, I'm also. We have catching these, and we look forward to Jerry, the first bridge down to the falls where I used to swim. But anyway, that's what this. Anyway, I don't want to go over the time. I appreciate it. And, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Director. Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Harmon.
Well, this is completely unrehearsed. Appreciate the opportunity to speak to Director. I think most of you here know me. If you don't, soon you'll know it for the meeting. This week I had the opportunity to get up to my district office and talk to some people there. Filled in. I know I definitely have a lot to learn. I look forward to learning. And I think we have a new format. Prop 14 in place with a director or a commissioner in each district. It's something new now. And you know, we think we can all take real pride in our districts. And some of the things moving forward. I know I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to meeting all the people, and hopefully as we go forward with this, I'll have as much confidence in me as I have. Definitely really work together. So, if you all ever need me, whether it's in my district or not, be sure to get on.
Thank you, Commissioner Harmon. Mr. Bowers.
Thank you. Well, I'd like to also welcome Dan and Jared. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised when you move from out there up to a commission, the work and the effort that's put into the Department of Natural Resources. Absolutely, we're second to none. I've had the opportunity to be in other states, and you guys will be enlightened, I think, when you see the effort they put forth. Also, I'd like to publicly just thank Kenny and Pete for the years they put in the commission, and the work and dedication they have. They truly love the Department of Natural Resources and gave tirelessly to it. Speaking of thanking, this is now that we're getting around to our state parks, you see these projects that are going on. Thanks to everybody that's been involved in that, because we're seeing a lot of changes, positive changes, and a lot of efforts in our state parks. Some of it's a little overdue, but I'm glad to see it, and it's working out nice. Got a lot to be proud of.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Bowers. Commissioner Dawson.
I have just two things. One, at the last commission meeting, I was sort of appointed by Director McDaniel to come up with some new criteria for establishing shoulder and wrist injuries for crossbow use. I've not forgotten that. I'm working as a therapist but I really trust, and I hope to have some recommendations. What we have in place now is just totally not practical. There isn't probably one doctor in the state of West Virginia that has those two pieces of equipment in their office. And so it's, it's a faith, a funds thing. there's a lot of judgment involved, but I think we can come up with some objective criteria that would be practical in any doctor's office to test for disabilities of the elbow, shoulder, wrist. And number two, I just want to make one comment. I'm willing to work with Commissioner Chambers on Cranberry catch and release, but I want to remind everybody that, you know, I feel our responsibility on the commission is to take into account every fisherman in the state. And the only analogy I can really draw is the people who design ski slopes. You know, we have green and we have blue, and most people want green and blue. And how about the double black diamonds? You know, why do we have those? You can say, well, why? Most people want to ski on the other. Well, there's a group of skiers that really like the challenge. And I think in West Virginia, there are people who don't want to catch and keep trout. There are people who just enjoy the thrill of presenting the fly to the fish and get it and are willing to pay for it. I just shelled out $4,000 to go to Montana and do that. I was almost finished for 6 days. And so I know that I fall into that group of fishermen who really love to catch fish and put it back in the water and live to fight another day. So we'll work out this compromise, whatever we need to, but just be aware that, you know, I think everybody has some skin in the fishing game.
I always enjoyed eating it too, Doc.
And I do, and I buy them at Kroger's all the time. They sell trout.
That's invading the mini scrap.
I want to thank everyone for coming today. I want to thank the governor of the DNR for allowing me to represent sportsmen of West Virginia again. I want to welcome our new commissioners, and also want to welcome what we're here before. Hopefully, I'd like to be able to start with clean paper and start working together again and moving the state to the DNR forward. Brad, I haven't heard any rumors about a rifle season. Don, the land company, and this is something that has the land company officially made a complaint to the DNR? And for the DNR, do you actually have to get a complaint from the landowner before you can investigate on their land?
Be preferred. I talked to the land manager, and he's not happy.
We would need that person.
Yeah, a lot of them says they won't even reach on the property, like in Wyoming County. There's very little property, that if anybody bought $1,000 from me to go down there lobby from me or whatever they put on it, that would be able to hunt, because nobody wants them on their property, even land companies, you know, that's why they lease them off land up for that reason.
Don, this Dickinson Land Company, how much property do they have, and does it run from the ridge all the way to
Hughes
Denver?
Creek, all the way to Blue Creek.
Adam, thank you. What part of Kenora do you play in?
Campbell's Creek, which would be, pretty much from Campbell's Creek all the way up, back in through that area. I also, over on the other end of Kanawha County, I mean, I can show you my maps, I got points anywhere.
And I think you're gonna be able to talk to Colin. Yeah, hopefully.
No worry. I mean, I'd love to have a conversation.
Brian, thank you for coming and representing the Moanas. Yeah, appreciate that. Larry, thank you for the history lesson. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Hodges.
First, I would like to thank the director and the commissioners for taking me to sit at the table. I've been on that side of the room for the last 30 years. It's completely different on this side. I think one of the things that we really need to stress is education across the board. And it's hard to compete with phones and games. And, you know, whenever you see a child or a youth out there participating in anything, it's a huge accomplishment these days. where I was growing up, it was taken for granted, we were all out there. But, I think it's important that we all understand that in many instances, we're all sharing the same patch of ground. You know, whether we're trapping, whether we're running, especially on all sharing the same patch of ground. And I guess that compromises almost has to be in some instances. I know the background that I have, but I just do want you to know that certainly willing to listen to your opinions.
Thank you, and thank you for this. She brought us all a copy of the Untitled Chapter Association magazine, and I have shared it on a public page. I'll let everybody remind everybody the annual Untitled Chapter Association convention in Smithville will be September 17th. Thank you. All right, and with that, I'll share my brief comments. First, for our public commenters today, Bradley, look at me. Look at me right here. There is absolutely no plans, thoughts, rumors, anything at all from that office in South Charleston or District 4 or District 5 of ever doing anything to the bow-only counties. It will stay one buck, bow-only. And the only thing that we make, we're going to try to get Doc Dodson, and as a matter of fact, he's going to be on the agenda in October. It's going to be working with wildlife folks to try to address the issue on the class fly permits. There's been a lot of questions about should some of these have a time limit on them, and there should be two, there should be a permanent and someone's in rehab from a car wreck. He's going to address that. There's going to be some recommendations. I'm certain of it. But that's something that's got to be changed. I believe all that's legislation.
You know, I agree on that, you know, but
So
you take even like me, I went as long as I could using
Right.
regular boats. But actually, when I fell out of the tree that time, which I passed out in the tree, I didn't fall out.
Well, I
I'm all
understand.
busted up in the
But
head.
that's
and
the
I got
only,
hurt on.
that's the only thing that anybody's ever talked about. There are no proposals, nothing. It's not going to happen. And matter of fact, like you said, we're Peterson bow hunting is coming here this year. There's some outdoor riders coming to hunt some of our areas in Southern Washington because of all the hoopla that's been going on. We've been doing a good job of telling the story. So no, that nothing could be further from the truth.
Well, I'd like for you to get the secretaries that you would have to send all the signees that spoke. Roster of all commissioners.
Absolutely. Okay.
If they don't carry the phone numbers and, you know.
Yep, absolutely. Mr. Radcliffe, Commissioner Burnett said something about, the Dickinson Lane Company, now, do they own property at Campbell Street? Because
I said he comes all the way from Hughes Creek all the way to Blue.
Now, we've talked to them before, they have a lot of, like, they let their employees ride there, and I think their employees bring people, but all they have to do is call us. But what I recommend they do is hide trail cameras, and I told them in the land manager meeting, hide some trail cameras where your biggest offenses are. When you get pictures, good pictures of somebody, you call us, we'll send somebody from District 5 out there, our officers will normally post a picture on our law enforcement page, usually within 24 to 48 hours, you know who they are. We'll send officers to their house to talk to them. That's about the best way to defend that. And I can tell you, if you do that, if the land manager does that or the private landowners, you catch a couple of them through social media. No, I know that. I'm saying if we catch a couple, the word will get out and they'll quit going there. We've got to have some help too. I can't send somebody up there every Saturday, especially when they're opening it to their employees and their employees' friends. That makes it kind of tough. How do my guys, or how do our officers know who has who doesn't, so forth? Ask
The
them.
thing I have, is you have people advertising on social media, for people to come and ride these places. And they don't own the property, they don't have permission to be on the property, but they're inviting people. There are people literally coming from 6, 8, 10 states every weekend. You can't, on Quick Road from the intersection there and finish up to Sanderson. At times, it's dangerous to be on that road because of the vehicles hauling trailers pulling side by side.
Not much I can do about that, but we can, if you get pictures of people, the Colonel will make sure.
It's, to add to that, it is a chapter 61 vehicular trespass, outside of chapter 20, which we deal with on a regular occasion. It's a problem everywhere as our officers just text. It's popular in, Valley, orders to right on 9 yards.
Yeah, they ride from Sanderson all the way.
I had a conversation with Elkins about it.
So we'll get working on that, but I understand, but I have met with them before, and he said the issue is they invite a lot of people.
Right.
Here. That's all. Mr. Hudson, again, thank you for coming down. Colin's gonna give you a lot more information. One of the kind of things I was trying to explain to you is that we had almost 1,800 bear complaints last year, and there's only a limited number of bear hunters. Hounds, most effective way to get harvest bears is hound. If all the seasons are together, I can't get Don Radcliffe to come to a certain place with his dogs. I've got to entice him on different weekends to go, and that's why we spread it out. Colin's going to talk to you about the seasons and why we chose that. And he wants to hear your comments, because we're constantly changing that. If you're a bear hunter, you'll see, I know since I've been here, we've added seasons and moved seasons, so we're always open to suggestions to try to better serve. That gentleman sits right beside you, knows 10 times more about it than I ever will, so he's the guy you need to talk to. But thank you for coming in. Mr. Elkins, it's always a pleasure. Thank you. Thank the Western Bow Hunters Association. They're a great partner. We certainly appreciate working with them. And I want to thank you for your comments and thank you for coming in and keeping the streak alive. Mr. Lawson, thank you. And what I wanted to add to that was the building that you're all in here today was closed in 1972. It was built during the Civilian Conservation Corps era, which was in the late 30s, early 40s. All the stone and timber that you see here, the majority of it all came from these grounds. It was all felled here, it was all cut here, and built here. I'm certain in 1972 they closed it because of the Americans with Disabilities Act. It was very, very difficult to get up to it. We actually were using for storage for almost 50 years. When I walked in here, when I first became director, and I saw this building, I said, oh my gosh, we can't keep this from the public. I mean, this is, and I invite everybody, if you haven't, walk around, go outside, see what we've done. Beautiful view over the New River Gorge. I'm told by the superintendent there'll be some additional trees, some scrub trees removed there. But we got this old world open again, and it's beautiful, and we're really proud of it. It's going to be open very soon for weddings and conferences and all types of events. But it's just a beautiful facility, and we're really, really proud of it. We're proud of the staff. Joe and all his staff are getting it ready. They worked really hard this week. If you could have seen this place last week, you couldn't believe it was open. Look at this good today. But I want to thank him. A couple of other things. Again, I want to thank the new commission for coming in. I want to congratulate again our award winners today. We have decided our next meeting will be at Chief Logan. I got Future Farmers of America's students won an award. For a skit that they did, and they wanted to present it to the commission meeting. They are from Buffalo, so I wanted to try to find a place that was close to them. I was originally going to go to Blackwater, but I don't think it's going to be done. Thank you, Toby and Debbie. So we're going to go to Chief Logan State Park. That meeting will be Sunday, October the 31st, correct?
Right.
1 p.m.
What's supposed to be a black?
Yeah, it's not going to, Blackwater's not going to be done, Keith. The windows didn't come in. And so we're going to have a Chief Logan, it's done, and I know it'll be open. You know, I invite everybody to come down and bring your bow and come a few days early and get a room and go up and hunt on call. But other than that, if there's nothing else, I entertain a motion to. You got your 2 minutes. Now you want to start again?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I'd like to thank the director for allowing the commission time to speak to the public. The chairman said for years I was on that side, and you get up to speed and feel like you don't know people heard or listened or whatever. But I know the director started providing feedback to people, and I think that's an awesome idea that the commissioner gets feedback to people. And from that perspective, you look like that. And the only other thing I would add on the crossroad thing is if we want to look at legislature, I think the MP board and DO board there need to be meeting. So that gets coordinated, how we practice and bring the joint district across those things. To me, I never gave out a process. But there was no guidance whatsoever from the mountain board that I received on what to do and what not to do. I think there needs to be.
Thank you. One thing did come up, I do want to remind y'all, we're going to have to go do a look on our website. We'll be launching that on July 29th. correct? July 29th. Now, I want everyone to know, don't close it right there in print. We have been updating this thing. There are going to be some bugs in it. That's why we're opening up this summer, because we want to try to work through some of those bugs before hunting season comes. But invite everybody up to the 29th to go on the site and navigate around a little bit, but let me know what you think. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. So move. Second. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Yes, sir.